Hey guys, this is Emmanuel, your emotion code practitioner. Just wanted to do a video on the emotion code. We are on page 10 to 15. I work with Coding Alternative and just wanted to do a quick commentary on these different pages here. And so let's get started here. So the first thing we want to do is we're looking at Julia the court recorder. So I'm going to start reading. Julia was going to school to become a court recorder and was excited about her future job prospects. Court recorders learn to record or learn to type on a specialized phonetic machine and have to type very rapidly and accurately to record everything said in the courtroom. Julia did fine in class, but whenever she had to take an examination where the pressure was really on, she would fail. She was very worried, and she had failed the test 3 times and was afraid that this next examination would be her last chance to pass. I tested her to see if there was a trapped emotion that might be influencing her behavior in the testing situation, and the answer her body gave was yes. So people can come to you with pain, but they could also come with you a certain specific emotional issue, and then you can work and see if there's a trapped emotion in there, and then release that. In her case, the trapped emotion was discouragement. So when she was 15 years old, she had gone through a difficult time with her parents divorcing, similar to me. Most of my trapped emotions came from 18, which was 1 year after my parents' divorce. She had experienced overwhelming discouragement, which she had become trapped in her body. In the testing situation with the pressure on, the trapped emotion of discouragement would sabotage her performance. Hence, there was a trigger, something that went back to her past and said, okay, this is like every time you are under stress, like it basically will remind you about the discouragement you felt at 15. And so her body's reliving it during the current state. And that's why she didn't do well in testing, because she wasn't in the right state to do well in the test. We released the trapped discouragement. Oh, the test situation with the pressure on trapped emotion of discouragement would sabotage her performance. We released the trapped discouragement, and she sailed through her next test feeling relaxed and confident, receiving a nearly perfect score. Julie had no idea that her parents' divorce and her old feelings about it could be affecting her negatively in the present. Okay, so in the same way that the effects of the wind are felt rather than seen, trapped emotions are invisible, yet can exert a powerful influence upon you. It's my experience that a significant percentage of physical illness, emotional difficulty, and self-sabotage are actually caused by these unseen energies. The emotion code will help you reclaim your life, enjoy better health, finally be free from the insidious and subtle forces that trapped emotions are exerting upon you. All right, so now we're going to the damage trapped emotion cause. Trapped emotions can cause you to make wrong assumptions, overreact to innocent remarks, misinterpret behavior, and short-circuit your relationships. Well, that sounds awful. It sounds like why there's a high percentage rate for divorce rate, which is 50%, is due to the fact that people are actually very reactive. I tell people when I work with clients, and maybe this might help you out, like a good example, is just to say that when your friend goes up to you and says, hey, I've been worried all day or worried all week, we actually live in a current society where we allow that, like it's not a big deal. Like we accept that as a normal behavior for people. So actually your friend could have been experiencing a trapped emotion, because if it wasn't a trapped emotion, it would have felt worry, would have gone on its way. But because it's trapped, it would have basically, it takes up the whole day or it takes up the whole week. And so, but like I said, as a society in a whole, we actually acknowledge it and just kind of like let it jump, like, ricochet off of us. But it could be a testimonial of a trapped emotion. So I tell people all the time, look, we live in a very reactive state. Most of your friends and family live in a reactive state. We aren't proactive with our emotions, and we could over-exaggerate things that shouldn't be. So even worse, trapped emotions can create depression, anxiety, other wanted feelings that you can't seem to shake. They can interfere with proper function of your body's organisms and tissues, wreaking havoc with your physical health, causing pain, fatigue, and illness. Yet no matter how great your suffering may be, the invisible energy of trapped emotions will remain undiagnosed by conventional medicine, even though they may be a major causative factor in your physical and emotional difficulties. I use the example too, when two people are together, that they want a new relationship, they go into a beautiful mansion, they bring this luggage in with bombs in it. Whenever you push each other's buttons, they light that sucker up, throw the bomb, it just explodes. And so, that's a really good sort of like a metaphor to kind of talk about how we carry luggage around and that we're very reactive. You say something, I light that bomb, and poof. What if you didn't have that luggage? You wouldn't have anything to attack your partner or your friend. So the next one page is page 12. To eliminate any kind of problem that has to do with your health or well-being, the underlying cause of the problem must be addressed. There are many powerful drugs that can relieve the symptoms of disease, but when the drug wears off, the symptoms often return because the underlying cause of disease have not been dealt with. Hence, doctors work with the symptoms to lower the symptoms down, but it doesn't, practitioners work with the imbalances. Very, very big difference. All symptoms are just imbalances, like a group of imbalances, according to Dr. Brian Nelson. It is important for you to recognize and remove your own trapped emotions before they cause more damage. You can live a much better life by getting rid of them. This book proclaims the truth that trapped emotions are a significant yet hidden cause of much illness and suffering, both emotional and physical in nature. All right, so time heals all wounds. Perhaps not. It's really interesting that this little paragraph comes in here because we're on page 12, in the middle of page 12, because I just posted something on Facebook about how time doesn't necessarily heal all wounds, and we've heard that our whole life. Like, just give it time, you'll be fine. Give it time, but it doesn't, because the energy's still there. This trapped emotion is still there, and time doesn't erode it. So, so it says here, you've probably heard it said all the time, all of that, time heals all wounds, but this is not necessarily true. You may think you have let go of your emotional pain from prior relationships, or maybe you've had therapy to deal with it. I worked with an EFT practitioner recently, they do tapping, and it's interesting that as we were going through her timeline and removing some things, she started noticing, she's like, wait, I thought I totally took care of this, but I'm still very reactive to this. So I feel like for me, the emotion code is very deep rooted when it removes something. It may seem like it's all behind you now, but your body can literally be inhabited by the invisible energies of old emotions. These are wounds that time alone cannot and will not heal. They can cause you to act and feel differently in your current relationships and may even cause you to sabotage them. When a trapped emotion is released, a burden is literally lifted. In fact, people often experience a feeling of lightness upon the release of trapped emotions. Finding and releasing these trapped negative energies can literally make changes in how you feel and behave, in the choices that you make, and in the results that you get. The emotion code is about clearing away the baggage so that you can be who you really are inside. You are not your emotional baggage, but sometimes your trapped emotions can derail you or cause you to travel on paths you'd rather not take. Trapped emotions can keep you from living the vibrant, healthy life you are meant to live. Okay, so trapped emotions and physical pain. In addition to obvious emotional pain, millions of people are suffering from physical aches and pains. Many times are unseen trapped emotional energies that can contribute to or create physical pain. The next example illustrates how trapped emotions can exert an astonishing, powerful influence over the physical body. He's about to go into a story. It's a very over-exaggerated story, but it's nonetheless, it's a very clear story that even the worst pains can be alleviated through the emotion code. Debbie had been a patient of mine for a year or so, when one day she came into my office complaining what she thought might be a heart attack. She had chest pain, difficulty breathing. Her left arm was completely numb as she was the left side of her face. She said it had been gradually getting worse for about 24 hours. I immediately had her lie down and put my staff on alert that we may need medical assistance. After checking her vital signs, okay, so it's very key too, like when someone has a super emergency and they're dealing with maybe potential death, Dr. Brian Nelson talks about how there is a place for like the ambulance in the hospital, don't be the savior of the situation, use the emotion code. There is a place for everything. I think he mentions that here. After checking her vital signs and finding them to be normal, I tested her body to see if these symptoms were caused by a trapped emotion, and the answer her body gave was yes. I continued to test Debbie and quickly determined that the trapped emotion was heartache. So that's the trapped emotion. A little more testing revealed that this emotion had become trapped in her body 3 years earlier, so he started checking the age. At this point, she burst into tears and said, I thought I'd dealt with that in therapy. I can't believe that's showing up now. I asked, can you share what happened? Oh, so he asked, can you share what happened? She replied that 3 years before her husband had an affair. The news was devastating to her. It destroyed her marriage and wrecked her life for a while, but she gradually came to terms with it. She cried a lot of tears, spent a year in therapy, got remarried, and moved on, or so she thought. So therapy is, I always tell people this, is that therapy is like a filter. It's just a filter, and if they provide something to you, some type of drug, we're talking about, something that's going to mask the problem, but doesn't really fix the root. That's where you come in if you're an emotion code practitioner, is you're taking out the root. Debbie expressed surprise that her past heartache was still affecting her, and in such a dramatic way. How could this event be the source of her physical pain when she'd gone to such lengths to deal with already? She thought the therapy helped her out. Probably mentally it did, though. She had done all the things we're told to do. She cried, expressed her feelings, sought the comfort of friends and the advice of therapists, opened up a dialogue with her husband, and reconciled with her divorce. Not been easy, and she made a lot of important progress. In her mind, she dealt with it and put it behind her. See, very clearly, in her mind she did. What she didn't see is what she can't see. There's a physical effect from her experience that was silent and invisible until she began to manifest symptoms from it. She had dealt with her troubles in every way but this. She was suffering from a trapped emotion. I released the trapped heartache from her body, and within seconds, the feeling came back into her arm, into her face. Suddenly she could breathe freely, and the chest pain and heaviness were gone. She left the office shortly after, feeling completely fine. The overwhelming heartache that she had felt during those early days of her breakup had literally become trapped in her physical body. The instantaneous relief of her physical symptoms were astounding to me. I was left to ponder on the mechanism that was at work here. How could a single trapped emotion cause such extreme physical symptoms? Debbie's experience is a dramatic example of how trapped emotions can affect us physically, and how traditional therapy cannot and does not attempt to remove them, although traditional therapy certainly has its place. Typically, trapped emotions will not cause symptoms as intense as this one. See, he says that. But most are more yet subtle, yet exert an imbalancing influence on both mind and body. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I added my input here and there between pages 10 to 15. Look for our next video Carson will be doing in regards to 16 to 20 or 16 to 21. And we look forward to seeing you again. Please subscribe below if you'd like to hear commentary from us as we read this amazing book. Take care.